Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today is another video in my Strange Indiana series, and today I'm going to talk about the Burger Chef murders that happened back in November 17th, 1978. My information is based off of this book here that I purchased off of Amazon a while back. It's by author Julie Young. And I just want to say she did a phenomenal job with this book. This book is one that you can sit and read, and as you're reading, it's so descriptive that it takes you back to the scene of the crime. It takes you to the place where they believe that the kids were murdered. Like scene by scene, you can picture it in your mind how it happened. It is that good. I highly recommend this book if you're interested after seeing this video. Also, last year marked the 40th anniversary of when the incident occurred. And here in the state of Indiana, they did a lot of news media coverage about it, you know, such as things, well, number one, revealing this book, but also they, you know, talked about the case for people that, you know, weren't born yet or people that didn't know about the case. And it was very interesting. And also in one of our daily papers, they did a spread about it too that I have kept. I keep it inside of my book. It's kind of like memorabilia, I guess. I had learned about this case when I was in high school. We had to do some sort of report, and I remember one of the kids did their report on this story. So I kind of knew about it, and then it was just forgotten about until last year when it became the 40th anniversary and the news media was doing coverage about it. I'm sure there's plenty of other YouTube videos out there that talk about this. I'm going to let you also do your more in-depth research. Otherwise, this video will be hours and hours long of me sitting here talking about it. And I really don't want to do that to you. So let me just point out some specific things about the case and let you decide if you want to do your own research on it or not. But I do highly recommend this book. I believe it's less than $20. Don't quote me on that. I could be mistaken, but it just seems like it was. It was a really, and I don't make a mistake. I don't make a mistake. I make millions of mistakes. I do not feel I made a mistake in buying this book. So I'm going to read the back of the book to you. Kind of gives you some more information about the case. So it says 40 years later and still no answers. The evening of November 17th, 1978, should have been like any other for four young crew members closing the Burger Chef at 5725 Crawfordsville Road in Speedway, Indiana. After serving customers and locking the doors for the night, the kids began their regular cleanup to ready the restaurant for the following day. But then something went horribly wrong. Just before midnight, someone muscled into the place, robbed the store of $581. That's it. And kidnapped the four employees. Over the next 2 days, investigators searched in vain for the missing crew members before their bodies were discovered more than 20 miles away. The killer or killers were never caught. Join Julie Young on an exploration of one of the most baffling cold cases in Indiana history. Okay, so the killing took place in Speedway, Indiana. Their bodies were found in a town called Greenwood, Indiana, which is where I am from. Don't live there now, but did when I was growing up. And yeah, they have a stone marker where as a memorial where the kids' bodies were found. It is now inside of a housing addition. The book also has pictures in it as well. And this shows the back of the restaurant, what it looked like back then, and how somebody had, you know, gotten in. This would be the back door, I believe, where they busted through to get to the kids. Yeah, it's a very interesting book. Like I said, there's so much information in that book, and a few things that I just want to point out that I think are interesting. There's actually one of our old Indianapolis police precincts that they no longer use the building. They built themselves another building, but they have enough evidence in that building from that crime scene that they have turned that building into sort of a museum, if you will. It has all of the case files, all of the evidence that they found, everything is in that one building. That's right. There's enough evidence to fill a building. So why in the world is this still a cold case? Unfortunately, you will find out as you do your research, it's because the crime scene was mishandled. Multiple police departments got in on it, and they trampled on the crime scene. Evidence got contaminated because there were so many hands digging around and poking and prodding, and everybody wanted a piece of this case. And so unfortunately, there's no DNA evidence that they can even process even now. Everything was tampered with, unfortunately. So there's really nothing that they can do until they have, exclusive proof that of the person that committed these crimes. And unfortunately, I'm just going to say, without giving the whole story away, because I really do want you to do your own research, I will say that I feel that two of the suspects who were not official suspects, but they were mentioned as possibly could be suspects, but were never brought into the police department. I believe they did it, and it is said that following the kidnapping and the murders, they left the state and they are now deceased, and they passed away many years ago. And I truly feel that those are the two men that did it. And if you read this book, which I really hope that you will, and do your own research, you may come up with the same conclusion that I did. It's very interesting. And also, let me show you a little bit more on this paper, because I think it's really cool. I love nostalgic type things. The old police car in front of the Burger Chef, this was actually taken the next day after it had happened. This is what it looked like. So I think that's really cool. It has the children's that name in the paper. Also, the book is mentioned in the paper too. The children's names were Jane Freet, Ruth Shelton, Mark Flemons, and Daniel Davis. Their ages: Shelton was 17, Davis is 16. They were shot in the back of the head. Flemons, 16, died after choking on his blood. Yikes. Freet was 20, was stabbed with a knife that was broken off at the handle. So there you have it. $580 something was taken out of the register. That was it. That was it. All of that kidnap and murder for not even $600. And I kind of understand now. At first I didn't understand how IPD could have messed this up, but once I did further research into it and read more stories online about things, I realized how easily that could have happened, because like I said earlier, there were multiple police departments that had their hands in the bowl. Everybody wanted a piece of this case. And now I know that that's, it's practically impossible, especially back in 1978. It would have been practically impossible for them to get a good case and some good evidence once the story broke. Let me just backpedal a little bit. I feel that the reason that everybody wanted a piece of this case is because there was just previously a killer called the Speedway Bomber. And at first they thought that this case was connected to the Speedway Bomber and that he had something to do with it. And I think that that is why multiple police departments got in on it, because multiple police departments wanted him. So I think that that is why that kind of tied in with this story. I am going to do my next Strange Indiana episode on the Speedway Bomber. So stay tuned for that. If you like this story and you like this series and you want to see more, press the subscribe button down below. And that's going to do it for this video today. Like I said, I'll show you the book one more time. So if you're interested, you can order it. It's called The Burger Chef Murders in Indiana. It's by Julie Young. And Miss Young did an excellent job with this book. I highly recommend this book. Even if I didn't live here in Indiana and the case wasn't so hyped, I still find it intriguing. The whole story, the whole kidnap and murder, I still find it intriguing. So I think even if I didn't live here in Indiana, I still would have bought this book and still wanted to read more about it. So this is Miss La-Di-Da saying ta-ta. I'll see you in the next one.